Hello everyone, Psychopathic1 here. My hair's getting a little long, but anyways, sorry about that notification sound. But anyways, I'm gonna do some more reviews tonight. Yeah, I just got back from my girlfriend's house yesterday. And I celebrated her birthday. I was over there for about 2 weeks. So yeah. Anyways, the movie I'm going to review, as you can read from the title, is a movie that gets a lot of hate. Um, More love than hate, thankfully, but it does definitely get a lot of hate. People say it's just the cutscenes put in the movie form. Sorry about that notification sound again. But anyways, this movie, I dare say it's the best one when it comes to the live action ones. Not the best when it comes to overall Resident Evil movies, but my favorite Resident Evil movies are the CG ones, the ones that have the voice actors as the characters and whatnot. But this one, not a bad film. Welcome to Raccoon City. That's supposed to be Wesker right there. Uh, there are some liberties taken in this movie, as with all video game adaptations, but it didn't bother me too much because, like, it was nice seeing a Wesker that was actually likable. And far be it from me to say anything positive about Wesker, but I didn't mind Wesker in this movie. Um, then we got Claire Redfield, played by Amy Scaliato. I probably butchered her name, but she's from the movie Crawl. If you remember the movie, it's about the, I can't remember if it was crocodiles or alligators. I think it was crocodiles, but that movie was fantastic, and I was like, "Ooh, let's see if she's good in this." And she did enough. She did a really bang up job in this uh, as Claire. Um, let's see. Okay, I know this dude from other movies. Don't know if he's gonna show up right, but little glare. But that's Chris right there, and I've seen him in a lot of comedies. And then we get Jill. Um, there's a little bit of race swapping. Well, not really a whole lot of race swapping, but two characters are race swapped in this movie, which I didn't really mind. Like, hey, change it, change it, may. Well, they were good actors. Don't get me wrong, but there's the first race swapped character, Jill Valentine. I liked the performance by the actress. And then we get to Leon, who's played by Ivan Hogia. I want to say his name is. Come on, get it in the frame, get it in the frame. Okay, there we go. There's Leon. Um, I didn't mind the character of Leon in this. He was more of an idiot though. And Leon is one of my all-time favorite characters when it comes to Resident Evil. But I'd rather it have the spirit of the game than just this will be my first curse in a really long time, but I don't feel like it's a bastardization of the character. Because in the Paul W.S. Anderson movies, and yes, Paul W.S. Anderson did produce this, but he literally that's the only thing he did for this movie, and what he produced for it, I do not know. But I'm happy that he is away from the series as a writer and director, because the only two good movies he ever made were Mortal Kombat, which take it as it is. Some people say it's a so bad it's good movie. I personally, it's a childhood favorite of mine. I remember watching it when it first came out. I rented it from the video store. God, I miss those days. And the other movie he did that is absolutely fantastic is Event Horizon. Yeah, the same dude who made the Alien vs. Predator movie, the first one, and the same dude who made most of the Resident Evil movies from the 2000s, made a fantastic horror movie called Event Horizon. But anyways, enough talk about the bad Resident Evil. This is actually really good. I loved the monster designs. Although you can clearly see it's CGI, but um, I won't knock it for that. Um, there's that creep factor in there. Like, um, the only, well, I guess it would be a big downside. It combines the first two games into one, which the director said there wasn't enough story for the first one and there wasn't enough story for the second one, so he combined the two. And I'm like, okay, the first story is actually pretty damn intricate. Well, not too intricate, but literally you have a whole mansion to explore in the first one, and literally you're going through labs and stuff. You're going to the Raccoon City underground and everything. You're fighting chimeras, who I haven't seen since the original Resident Evil one. Then with the second one, you're not just in the police station. You're going across like different areas. Like you're going to the underground area of the police station. You start off in Raccoon City, which is nice. And the remake of Resident Evil 2 was absolutely amazing. I loved the remake of Resident Evil 2. And I don't hear anybody talk bad about that, so that's surprising. Most of the time when a video game gets a remake, like much like a movie, like they're like, "Oh, really?" But Resident Evil 2 remake on the PS4 and Xbox One, really solid remake. But yeah, this pretty much follows the events of the first movie. It's more so the second. Why did I say first movie? It follows the plot of the first game and the second game, but it's more concerned with the second game than the first game. You only spend about a maximum of about, I'd say, about 15 minutes in the mansion uh, of the first game. It's most centered around the police station. So yeah. Um, there's one part that made me laugh out loud because I was not expecting it, and even when I rewatch this movie, it still cracks me up. I'm easily entertained. What can I say? But literally, when there's a scene where a helicopter ends up popping into view, and well, it's not a helicopter; it's a truck. It's the truck from the beginning of Resident Evil 2. The dude who got bit. Um, uh, and the truck driver ends up ramming right into the police station, and all of a sudden you end up hearing "crush, a little crush," and I'm like, okay, yeah. And by the way, I should mention this takes place in 1998, which was when the first game took place. So kudos there. Um, you don't really get like all those cell phones and stuff like that. And like Wesker, he has a pager. So yeah. If anybody remembers pagers, then you know what I'm talking about. But I liked the characters in this as well. Claire was badass in it. Um, Chris, he was cool. Leon, um, he could have been acted better. Maybe even just a better overall characterization of Leon would have been nice. But I didn't mind Leon in this movie. Ivan Hogia, I've never minded the dude. He played in the show Victorious. If anybody remembers that, I know about the bad stuff with Dan Schneider and whatnot, disgusting and whatnot. But I remember watching Victorious back in the day and seeing Ivan Hogia. He was a likable, handsome dude. So yeah. Um, anyways, it starts off, you're inside an orphanage, and you're seeing a little girl and a little boy. The little girl ends up going to a place in the orphanage. She ends up saying to a little boy, "Hey, I heard the sound. I'm gonna go check it out." And so she goes to check it out, and she ends up finding a little tent in the back of one of the rooms, and inside this tent is a girl. We don't see her face. We don't even. We might see her fingers. It's been a little while since I've watched it, but we see her fingers, and they're like bending and like almost creepy looking and everything. And they reach out, and it's Lisa Trevor from the first games remake. Yeah, like they actually implemented Lisa Trevor in here. Now, Lisa Trevor, she's not a villain in this. I mean, yeah, in the remake of the first one, could you really consider her a villain? Maybe a tragic villain, but in this, like, they actually tugged on the heartstrings a little bit, like making her somewhat of a lovable monster. Now, she's not in the movie very long, so you don't have to deal with like something like Harry and the Hendersons or trying to think of some other lovable monster movies, but it's not a family friendly like lovable monster. Let's just say that. But the gore, decent. Not too much. It's not splattery like something out of like The Burning Moon or Dead Alive, even Terrifier, or Terrifier 2. Oh, jeez, that movie was gory. But Dead Alive will always be my favorite when it comes to the Splatterfest movies. That movie is so darn gory. It actually won an award for the goriest movie. I forget what publication did it, or it might have actually been part of like a horror vote list. Like, what was the goriest movie they ever saw? And so many people ended up saying Dead Alive, and I was like, okay, cool. Um, but yeah, Dead Alive. Whew, getting off tangent here, but anyways, um, the girl ends up going back to her brother. We find out it's her brother. And here's where we get the names. The little boy's name is Chris, and the little girl's name is Claire. And it cuts to years later, 1998. Claire is going. She's hitching a ride, and she ends up uh, getting getting a ride from a trucker to take her into town. And apparently, Raccoon City is about to be closed off because something bad is apparently happening there. And she ends up getting an informant who's on her phone. Well, I'm trying to think about how this worked. Um, oh, VHS tape. She ends up getting a VHS from her informant, telling her, "Hey, Raccoon City is about to be shut down. Like, there's bad stuff going on in Raccoon City. All who are in it, get out now." And so she goes to Raccoon City to pick up her brother, Chris. And Chris, he's a part of the Stars team, like in the game, and he's got kind of a crush on Jill. So there's even a reference to Jill sandwich in there. So yeah, take that for what it is. I didn't really mind the reference, but some people will just groan at it, which, um, like I said, I'm easily entertained and whatnot. So yeah, we get introduced to Jill at the diner, and we get introduced to Wesker and Leon. And the way we're introduced to Leon is Leon's really, really sleepy, and Wesker makes a bet with Jill that she can not shoot a can off of Leon's head. So what happens is, and well, I forget what the bet was, but it involved knocking the can off of Leon's head while he slept. So, anyways, instead of shooting the little toy dart thing, she ends up throwing the dart at the can, and she ends up saying to Wesker, "Okay, you owe me." And she ends up taking a Wesker sandwich, and she says, "Jill sandwich now." And in that scene, it it pretty much showed that the characters are likable, and in horror movies, especially nowadays, We really need more likable characters in movies, man. Like most of the time, um, um, Terrifier, like it had likable characters, but they weren't on screen for very long to really get attached to them because that was more of a splatter movie. You're going in for the splatter, so like that I can understand. But I miss days when we had likable characters. The Friday the 13th characters, especially, like I liked the characters in each of the Friday the 13th movies, especially the first four. The sixth one definitely had some likable characters too. Megan, Tommy, even though it was his fault for Jason's resurrection. But sometime I think it was either the mid 90s or late 90s, like 1999 and 2005 and so on, we started to get unlikable characters. And I didn't really watch much of 2000s horror because most of the time when it came to the 2000s horror, it was mostly remakes and stuff. Now, granted, I did watch a few remakes because they were remakes of movies that I liked. Um, uh, I ended up seeing the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake. That movie had likable characters, so that was nice. Um, but after 2003, you got loads upon loads of torture movies and torture movies. And the big draw of the torture movies was unlikable characters. You wanted to see stuff happen to them. And that just wasn't entertaining to me. So, again, it was nice seeing something different in a 2019 horror film where the characters were likable. And the collector and the collection, I'm not really that big on torture films, but I liked the main character in those two movies. So like that's what made that movie unique in the fact that hey, the character was likable and he was trying to save people. Save people from horrible deaths, but save people nonetheless. But anyways, after that we get introduced to the people in the police station. We get introduced to the captain played by Donald Logue, who's not an evil character like in the games. He's actually an all right dude, which that's blasphemy in some circles of the Resident Evil circles, but I didn't mind it. But yeah, like he ends up trying to leave. He ends up trying to leave. He ends up trying to leave the city before it gets pretty much quarantined. And while he's riding out of the city, he's playing the song "Any Way You Want It" by Journey, and I just ended up cracking up laughing at that. He's just singing along while the whole thing is going into chaos, and I just cracked up laughing. To each their own when it comes to comedy. I had a great time with that part. Um, and then this movie doesn't really stand still from one location to the next. Then after the police station, they end up going to the orphanage where Lisa Trevor is, and you even get a key reference. You She uses the heart key on a on a little part of a mechanism in the orphanage, and it opens up the room to Lisa Trevor's place. And Lisa ends up attacking a liquor to help Leon and Claire escape. And so I thought, okay, that's cool. They're doing something different with Lisa Trevor, so that's nice. Um, and they're able to go underground, and uh, that's where I'll leave it. Like, if you want to see the rest of the movie, I left out a lot of stuff too, because like I really do believe people should give this movie a chance. To me, it wasn't just the cutscenes from the game; it actually had some meat on its bones. The zombie designs looked cool. Uh, like there's zombies that are literally losing their hair, and like when they touch their hair, like their hair is coming off their body. can off their head, and I thought that was cool. I hadn't seen that in a while. I forget what other movies did that, where the zombies were starting to like rip their own hair off and whatnot. The gore was excellent. I didn't really talk a whole lot about the effect shots. I left most of the stuff about the mansion out because like it's not really set in the mansion for very long. Oh, you get a reference to the Moonlight Sonata puzzle as well in the movie. I liked that. Um, but overall, I I liked the movie. I thought the characters were interesting. Well, not interesting, but they didn't get on my nerves. I didn't hate any of the characters, and Wesker does have the bad guy payoff, so that's nice. Um, but anyways, that's all I'll say about that can of worms. But overall, fun movie. I wish it would have gotten a sequel because there was stuff that could have been improved on. And if they were to make a sequel to this, I'd love it to be Resident Evil Code Veronica and Resident Evil 3 if they were going to do the two game type of thing again. Have one part be set in Raccoon City with the Jill storyline being Resident Evil 3, and then lead up into the events of Code Veronica if they were going to do it, because Code Veronica doesn't get enough love as the other games, and I personally liked Code Veronica even though it was the most difficult of the Resident Evil games. That's really one of the original ones that I never beat. I never beat Code Veronica because it was so hard. Even Code Veronica X, which is pretty much a director's cut version of it for PlayStation 2, and you can get it on Xbox 360 as a download title. But anyways, definitely check this out. What would I give it? It's definitely not getting a 10 out of 10 or even 9 out of 10. So, with as much fun as I had with this film, I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. Well worthy of putting in your collection, but definitely get it when it's on sale. I got it when it was on sale. I got it for like $10. So yeah, definitely check this out. It came with a digital code. I used the digital code because sometimes I don't really like to take my Blu-rays out when I go places. So I'll take it and put it on my system and whatnot. So yeah, definitely check this out. Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City. It was a surprise. I was expecting this film not to be all that great. Turned out to be really fun. So definitely check it out. It's on Vudu if you're well, it's now called Fandango at home. So it's on Fandango at home if you have Vudu, which now is called Fandango at home. You can rent it. I don't know how much the rental prices would be, but last I checked for rental prices on most movies, it was $20. So even then, oh, I miss Video Store so much. Like getting the $1 rentals from Family Video was a godsend. Um, so yeah, definitely take care of yourselves. I will be back with another review, a little bit more splattery one. So definitely look forward to seeing you guys again soon. This is Psychopathic One signing off. Catch you later.